Welcome back to Millennials, and this is a continuation from episode 6. This is episode 7, and you're going to be learning a little bit more about us and how we grew up. So I hope you guys enjoyed the first episode of this, and the second episode is going to be even better. Just know this: I'm not judging Raven. Raven's not judging me, but we are having a good time about it. So let's continue. What did you do during summer break?
Summer break, especially when I was like in middle school and probably elementary school, I went to the YMCA. That was my jam. I remember one year my mother was trying to like save money. So she sent me to the Boys and Girls Club. No diss to the Boys and Girls Club, but the one that I went to, it was just boring. I was like, this ain't it. The
Anytime
YMCA.
somebody says no diss to something, it's really a diss to something, but continue.
I'm just saying, because I don't know all the programs. All I know is the one that I went to, and I was saying that she was not that girl, okay? The YMCA, though, was that girl. We went on field trips every week. We did activities. The Boys and Girls Club, we trotted our behinds across the street to the park every day.
Well, I'll say this much. During summer break, we had several things that we can get involved with. So 2 years in a row, 4th grade to 5th grade, I won a scholarship to be a part of this theater class that was actually like really expensive, but they let me be part of it. It was great. Like I got to do acting. I also got to do a little bit of like art, drawing, because drawing was my passion at the time.
Yeah.
And a big part of that was me being able to be around a lot of kids who have the same creative juice and energy. We got to write scripts for either a TV show or scripts for a movie to like see how those stuff get put together. But I love to be able to do stuff like that in my time. But truthfully, during the summer, all I really wanted to do was hang with my friends. I want to go play basketball. I want to go play basketball, get like a little bit of Gatorade and like chug that thing and act like I was Michael Jordan for the next like 3-4 hours. That's all I wanted to do. That's it. That doesn't mean that's what I got to do, because my parents made sure that they knew what you really need to be doing is further educating yourself during the summer. So although I did have those extracurriculars here and there, my parents were having me read books that were above my grade level.
Yes.
Every single summer break. So I'm over here in 3rd and 4th grade reading Moby Dick. This is the 10th grade reading level. I'm over here reading To Kill a Mockingbird. Why do I care? Why?
Your parents was like, you're going to get this education. Okay.
It's 4th grade. What that does, by the time I'm in 6th grade, I legit have the reading level of a senior. School is light work to me. I'm like, I could do this in my sleep. So now I'm really talking in class. But anyway, going back to you.
So what you're saying is this is really your parents' fault as to why you were so talkative. Because if they didn't give you the Moby Dick in the 4th grade, in the 6th grade, you wouldn't have been as fast with your work. So it's like, y'all the one that created the problem. Don't look at me.
I've never looked at it that way, but yes, respectfully, yes. I'm going to punt the blame to them because that's the easiest way to do it when you don't want to take accountability for your own actions.
But like, well, y'all set this up. Okay, y'all put the wheels in motion back in 4th grade. Okay, if y'all hadn't gave me the Moby Dick, we wouldn't be here today talking to Miss Anna about why I'm talking in class. So
what about you in the summer? What did you do during summer breaks?
Oh, I just said what I did during summer break.
Not really.
I said I was at the YMCA.
No, I'm talking about, did you not have to like do some kind of book reading, something? Nothing?
Mm-mm. No. I was at the YMCA.
You telling me that's all you only got extra? No, there's no way. There is 0.0% chance this is true.
I did not have to do any kind of extracurricular. There's one time I had to go.
I have to meet you alone. There's no way this is true.
There is one time that I actually did some kind of like school activity during summer break. And it's because I did not get the grade that I needed to get in Japanese.
Oh, you took summer school.
So I had to go to a Japanese summer program.
What does that mean? What is a Japanese summer program?
It's like a Japanese language summer program. So they teach you Japanese at the summer program.
Raven, get off my line. Anyway, let's continue on.
That's what I took Japanese in high school. That was my language that I took.
Raven, what?
My high school was still in the hood. Okay.
No, you don't get to do this. You don't get to like
It
portray
was,
this as something that is not. No.
oh no, my school was in the hood. It was what it was, but we had a ton of students and we had a ton of languages. We had Japanese, we had Chinese, we had French, we had Spanish.
What's the next question, Raven? You killing me. You are absolutely killing me. This is I hope
Oh,
the
this
rest of
one is
y'all
gonna
listen to
be
this feel the
okay.
same way.
So did you get an allowance and how much was it?
Is it any age or just in general?
Whatever your ages are of allowances. So like if you could say like, oh, in middle school I got this much, and then in high school it went to this.
So short answer, no.
Okay.
No, I never truly got a direct allowance. However, long answer, if I got good grades, they would give me a little bit of change.
Oh, so you would get like a bonus.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it wasn't ever like because I did the chores that were written on the wall.
Yes.
That was a given.
Yes.
That was a given. But if I brought back A's for each A, that could be $20.
Okay.
And $20 when you little, it's like 100. So for me, I'm trying to bust down all A's or all E's, because at the time we were getting excellence, which is really weird in theory. So I was trying to get these E's or these A's. And so we would get at least we got 4 different, subjects that we were covering. So that's $80 a pop. I was on it. I wasn't trying to lose out on this $80. I didn't know I was going to do it to $80, but I knew I was going to get it. You can't buy the latest J's with $80. So you gotta wait 2 semesters.
You're like, I'm gonna get, I was like, at the end of the year though.
Exactly. They're gonna be less cool by the time I get them.
In the summertime, I'm gonna be fresh, honey. Okay, I'm about to be fresh over the summer break.
Ready. What about you, though?
So I did get an allowance. Okay.
Naturally. Tell me more. I mean, as if this was news.
I didn't. Okay, so I didn't get an allowance from my mom, but I did get an allowance from my dad. My dad gave me an allowance, and so I got an allowance starting in middle school.
For what?
For a pocket change.
No. I need you to give me such a ridiculous conversation. You got allowance for just being alive? Right.
Yes.
You got allowance for being alive.
I got an allowance because the world requires money, and that's why
How much money were you getting on a weekly basis?
When I was in middle school, I got $60 a week in allowance.
Shut this whole thing down. Shut this whole. What?
That's what I got an allowance. And I went to the Sanrio store with a quickness. As soon as I got my allowance, we were at the Sanrio store.
Was it for lunch money? It was for lunch money, right?
Not really, because my mom made my lunch. So like it really wasn't for lunch money.
Can we just delete this? Can we delete this? Can we delete this whole thing? This is ridiculous. You acted like you didn't grow up with some form of funds. You were like, no, we were middle.
We are middle class.
I will pour this water all over you on this screen. What are you talking about?
It was middle class. Like I grew up in apartments most of my life. Like that's just what it was. My dad did not pay child support. So like, yes, he can, like $60 is literally nothing when you're not paying child support.
Raven, you were getting $240 a month to just do whatever you please as a teenager.
Well, in middle school, you're not a teenager, so yes.
As a tween.
As my allowance went up when I got in high school, but yes.
What is it in high school? Tell us more.
Not tell us more. I can't remember what my allowance was in high school.
Oh, the Duchess of LA can't possibly remember how much money she was being given. Oh.
I can't remember how much money I was being given because I feel like it was probably somewhere around like $100, maybe.
$100 per what?
Per week.
Man, I just want you to know that is not normal. Kids were not getting $100 a week for allowance. That wasn't a thing. That's you.
But I'm telling you, like my dad did not pay child support. So like
does not matter.
The had level to support in some kind of way. And that's the way he supported.
Raven, Charlemagne wrote a whole book about you. It's called Black Privilege. I didn't know you had it until today. You had Black privilege. You did.
I told you, I did not say that I was not spoiled.
This is wild.
I did not say that I was not spoiled.
I understand a lot more now. Oh my God. Oh my God. Tell me you grew up financially stable without telling me you grew up financially stable.
No, we definitely grew up financially stable. Yes. I never said we did not. I said we were middle class. Middle class is financially stable.
We can cut this whole thing now. We don't even need to get to the latter part of this because we both know what it is now. You grew up balling. You did. Because if he's giving you 100 a week, if your mom gives you anything else, you are basically making what some people are making on a yearly basis.
But my mom didn't give me any other money. Like my mom didn't give me any money because she knew that I had the money from my dad. So like she, took care of the household bills and things like that. She would give me like things, like we would go shopping, but she didn't really ever give me like, oh,
she doesn't need to give you money because at this point she's clothing you.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So like it wasn't like my dad gave me my spending money. So I didn't have to get like extra money from her for spending money, shall I say.
I don't even feel like I need to ask you the next question then, because the next question was supposed to be, did you have a TV or phone in your room growing up? And at this point, I'm particularly not even interested in understanding whether or not you had one. I just want to know how long you had one, because clearly you had both. It did, obviously.
I did have both. I did have a phone and a TV in my room. The phone in my room, maybe, I'm trying to remember how old I was when I lived. I think it was when we moved into our house. It was probably middle school or like the beginning of high school or something like that. And then I've always had a TV in my room, always.
When you say always, what age are we talking?
Pretty much probably since I was like a child. I've always had a TV in my room.
Again, you got to give me an age. You feel like 3? Do you feel like 4? Do you feel like 5?
Probably around like 5-ish.
Another thing, please mark this down. Please put this on IG. Please put this on TikTok. People did not have TVs in their room at 5 years old. Some kids ain't even being allowed to get tablets at 5 years old. You had a whole TV with the butt in the back. Like you had the tube joint back in the day.
Butt TV. We were just a TV house. Like we had a TV in the living room. My mom had a TV in her room. I had a TV in my room. Like
I didn't get anything like that until I was close to being a teen. Like I actually got access to things as a teen because they were like, yeah, you can handle this now. Meanwhile, Raven at 5, hey, I want to watch Tailspin right now. Hey, I don't feel like watching Sally Jesse Raphael. I'd rather watch Chip and Dale. I'm just saying, this is the most ridiculous conversation we've ever had, but it's fine. Let's continue. I'm like steaming. I am steaming.
Why are you steaming? Why are you?
This is ridiculous. Like I've never met anybody that's been afforded the amount of luxuries you have as a little kid. Like this is unreal. I don't have white friends that have what you had. I don't even have white friends that have what you have. You want me to say this again?
I'm in tears.
White friends. Not even close. It just doesn't even add up. None of this adds up, Raven. None of it.
Not all of my friends, but like the white friends that I had definitely they got way more than I got. And I knew Black people who got way more than I got. Like one girl at my high school, her first car was a Mercedes.
Let's continue. I mean, I can't even add to this. I mean, clearly I grew up broke.
So like I was saying, I don't think I had a TV at 5 because I remember wanting to watch In Living Color and having to like be in my mom's room to watch it. So I probably did not have a TV in my room when I was that young, but I remember having a TV in my room, like in elementary school at some point.
I feel so bad for you.
I'm done with you.
Me too. In reverse. In reverse. Respectfully.
Respectfully, of course. That's just what it is.
Oh my God. I don't even know where we go from here, because at this point, you know how your whole point was, we'll see if we live the similar existence. No, nowhere near. No, it's not night and day. It's night and New Year. Like literally.
Not night and New Year. I'm so done. I'm so done.
You are in a completely different. You know, people are always like, oh, we're not on the same page. No, because you're in a novel and I'm in a magazine. Like, for real. You got published by one of the main manufacturers, me. I'm just trying to stay on shelves.
I cannot. I could be like self-published on Amazon. No.
Not with your upbringing. No.
Okay.
$1 a week?
Wait, I'm gonna text my dad because I'm gonna ask him.
This is not regular. You know that, right? Though, right? Like, this is not regular.
I know it's not regular.
Okay, cool. I'm just glad you know it's not. Cool. This is ridiculous.
Okay. Did you have a pool in your backyard?
Absolutely not. Because, I didn't get $100 a week to, put down payments towards a pool.
I'm so done.
It wasn't even a possibility. I almost feel like if you had a pool, you were rich. Like, it was a thing back in the day. Like, they're like, oh my God, you got a pool in the backyard? How'd you get
definitely had some money if you had a pool in your backyard. And
when I say pool, let me be clear. I don't mean one of the ones above ground. I mean the underground joint.
The underground, in-ground pool. I will say, like, majority of my life, we did not have a pool. I had a pool because my dad lived a certain life, okay, in the beginning of my life. So we had a pool at his house when I was younger. And then when he moved from there, no longer had access to a pool.
I don't like the fact that you tried to lead that with, I didn't have a pool most of my life. You should have just said, for a portion of my life, yes, I did have a pool, because that's the right answer. Yes, you did. Yes.
For a few years of my life, we had a pool at my dad's house. His house was quite nice. I really wish that he still had that house.
Continue. What else you got on that? Because at this point, I just can't wait to hear more about your life of luxury.
Oh, I thought you were going to ask me what else was at the house. Okay, moving on. What age did you get your license and your first car?
16, because that's the legal age limit in Michigan. First car was a Camry. And let me just say this much. In Michigan, it is a big deal to get your license early and at least have your permit. So I was learning how to drive when I was like 13, 14. Nobody's messing around in Michigan. You got to know how to drive because you can't get around in Michigan.
Michigan is the like automobile capital. So like if you don't have one, side eye.
So I was already at it at an early age. So I'd already had everything done by the time I was 15, just had to wait till I was 16 to actually get a formal license. But I could already drive at 15. So if an emergency happened, I could pull out my permit and be like, you get to where I got to go. But what about you?
I got my license at 16 because it was just like in California is another place that like you need to get your license. Like, what are you doing with your life? But I made sure because of the way that the school was, like what they did with driver's ed, that you had to take it. It was based off of like your last name or your birthday or something like that. So mine was second semester and I knew that I wasn't going to be able to get my license by my birthday. So I took outside classes because I was like, we're not waiting for, like, I got to get my license. Permit 15 and a half, license 16. I don't got time for this. So that's how that went. And then my first car was a Ford something. It was used, some kind of Ford something. And I did get it at 16.
I love that you did something normal. It makes me really happy.
What was it? What did I do normal?
Or it's a bit of normalcy that you said about anything. You got to use car as your first car, like most humans, and you
Yes.
also got it at the age of 16, like most humans, and you doesn't seem like you were complaining about it. You just didn't remember what the vehicle was. So all these things feel very normal to me. I'm happy. Makes me
Not
feel like
complaining
we
about
live
it.
a similar shared experience for once.
I thought that you were gonna be like, oh my gosh, you got a car at 16, because not everybody gets a car at 16.
No, no. Do you know why I'm not
Oh,
going to be like that?
because you got a
No.
car at 16?
No.
Oh,
What?
I don't know.
Again, there you go. There you go. No, I didn't get a car at 16. I got a car closer to 18.
Okay.
The car that I was referring to was a hand-me-down from my parents. So shout out to them for that. So I only had to pay like the last little bit of it off, and it was mine. So
Oh, that's good.
I dropped like $3,000. I got a car.
Okay.
Let's transition over into the real goods, because this is really going to be really telling of where your parents stood on things.
This is where they were strict. Okay.
What age did you start dating? And don't play with me. What I mean by that is, what age did your mama or your father know that you had a boyfriend?
Well, I didn't get my first boyfriend until college, but
Stop playing.
I didn't.
You didn't have no little somethings in high school. Not a one.
Not a boyfriend, no.
What did you have then, Raven?
I didn't date in high school. Like, I literally started probably like going on dates like my senior year of high school. Other than that, like, I wasn't talking to anyone on a
Were
regular.
you not allowed to? Is that what it is?
I think the conversation was like, oh, you can start dating at like 16. But even then, I just wasn't going on dates like that. Like, nobody was asking me on dates.
So your mom put that out there? She was like, if you're 16, okay, cool.
Probably, like, we never talked about it because there was never a chance for me to go on a date. So like, we never really had the formal conversation, because it wasn't like at 14, I was like, oh, I want to go on this date with my boyfriend, because I didn't have a boyfriend at 14. Or like, oh, I want to go on this date because this guy likes me. Like, that wasn't happening. The only thing I got denied was I got asked to prom when I was a freshman, and my mom was like, hell the fuck no. So I was like, okay, well, there's that. But other than that, I really, like, guys were not approaching me like that in high school. So up until like my senior year, then everyone came out the woodwork like, oh my God. And I was like, what? Huh? Where'd you come from? So like, I went to school dances and all that stuff, but I usually went with my friends. Like, I never went with a date.
I can answer this question on my behalf really easy. The age I started actually dating at, like calling somebody my girlfriend, I was 17.
Okay.
Prior to that, I had called someone my girlfriend in second grade. Like, but is that real?
Oh, I called somebody my boyfriend in first grade. I think I probably had a boyfriend in first grade and second grade.
I did the Valentine's Day thing, and that's how I got a girlfriend. And then it happened again. It happened again, like a year later.
Okay, look at you.
But that's not real.
It's not.
17, it was real. 17, it was like, all right, yeah. I can see it. But I will also say this much. My parents did not make that like something where they didn't make it comfortable. It wasn't like you could have came to them like, hey, I'm dating. They'd have been like, why? With a serious face. Like, why?
Like, why would you do that?
What do you think you're going to get out of this?
Oh, now what do you think you're going to get out of this?
So,
no.
Fun fact, and I know this person is going to hear this, so this just makes it even better. The first girl that age 17, she knows who she is. She listens to this. It's fine. She comes to my parents' place to visit. Mm-hmm. Parents already know she's coming, blah, blah, blah. She gets there, and the first thing my mom says after giving her a hug and being like, oh, nice to meet you, blah, blah, blah. So that's what you're going to wear? It was a jean skirt with sandals. Not heels, sandals. And then a regular top. A real regular like pink tee. That's what you're going to wear?
So that's what you're going to put on?
You visiting somebody's parents, that's what you thought that was your legs all out? Skirt just above your knee? You think that's okay?
Remind me if I ever meet your parents to wear pants. Okay, we're not even dating. I just, I just want to make sure that your mom don't think that I'm a heathen. Okay, so I'm gonna make sure I got on some long pants and a long sleeve shirt. Cause
No, but this is why this is funny, because now that would never happen, right? But
yeah,
then when I was young, because it's the first person that I brought to them, right? And in their minds, they're like, this should be a little bit more formal. It's just because I'm young. And
you'd be like,
from
she's
that point
only
on,
17. Like she's in high school. Like, do you want her to be in a ball gown? Like, she's just. This is
exactly.
what we wore to school. Like, it's nothing.
It's quite literally insane. Yeah, that's my one little story from back in the day.
Yeah,
But did you ever sneak out of the house?
definitely. Definitely. Because my mother was not playing any of these games with boys or anything like that. So, yes.
Why would you need to sneak out of the house when you get to stay out until 2?
Because on school nights, I did not get to do that. And then also, like, April Roberts was not letting me go to house parties. So, like, there would be house parties. I think probably when I was like 16, when I was trying to go to house parties and stuff, she was playing none of those games. So that year, I went to the movies a lot. Okay. I was always at the movies. Didn't see there not one movie, but that's where she thought I was going. So that's where I said, I was like, oh, we're going to see this movie. She's like, okay, great. Enjoy. Bye. I was like, bah. Then I had to be out. But I wasn't staying out till 2 a.m. then.
Does
So
she know that to this day? Does she
she
know?
knows now because I told her. I was like, yeah, all the times I said I was going to the movies, I was really going out to a party. So that's why I think my curfew was like 16 because like when you first got your permit, it had to be like midnight or something. So that's why it was a problem because I'm like, I'm going to these parties and the party is still going on and I gotta leave. And then my friends, because they didn't have cars, they had to come back with me. So like, dang, we gotta leave.
I'm gonna admit this straight up. I ain't never in my life snuck out of the house ever.
You
Ever.
saying because you at your parents' house right now recording this, or because you never did?
I've never in my lifetime did that. Ever. I already told you, like, my parents both work for the prison system.
Yes.
So they know if you left the house. They know what time you get in the house. They know who you hang with. So they know who to call about things. You wouldn't have been doing all this with my parents. They would have been like, okay, well, you want to go to the movies? I'll drop you off at the movies and I'll wait right here.
There were times that we did go to the movies.
It'd be like, what are we watching?
That we did not go to the movies. Thankfully, because I had my own car, I didn't really have to worry about that too much. I would sneak out, not often, but often enough. Sometimes I'll go meet some guy that I was talking to.
You already said that you weren't necessarily allowed to go to dances. Is there a specific reason why, like specifically the prom one at an early age? Did she assume that you was gonna just be out here acting like a savage your freshman year if you went to the dance?
No, she just was like, what business do you have at a senior dance as a freshman? Like, what is that? Like these older men, like she was more worried about me getting like proud on as like a 13-year-old going to like senior prom than anything. And I did get to go to dances. Like my first dance in high school, this is going to sound crazy, but in high school, I was a part of sorority. So our sorority put on a dance every year. And it was like one of the biggest dances that our school put on. So we would put on this dance. So my freshman year, I went to that dance and the hotel that it was at, my mother was like, we're getting a room at the hotel. And so like, I literally like went downstairs. She walked me downstairs to the dance. I was allowed to go to the dance. And then at the end of the dance, she came down and I had to go back upstairs with my mother at the hotel. And that was the first high school dance experience.
I, on the other hand, I was allowed to go to dances. I just didn't. I actually This is my story's effed up. I'm gonna give the really short version of this because I'm gonna look like a ridiculous person. I got asked to go to 3 dances in my senior year.
Okay.
3 different schools, a whole 9. But it was prior to the time where, like, let's say it's the beginning of my senior year. They're all like, hey, would you come to dance with me? Hey, would you come to dance with me? I'm like, yes, say less. And I don't think anything of it. I'm like, oh, I'll just go to 3 different proms. I don't care. Because I didn't care about any of it.
Yeah.
I didn't care about who I was going with and blah, blah, blah. I was just like, if you want me to be your man candy, I'm gonna be your man candy. Yeah.
Oh, yes.
And so ultimately I get in a relationship with the girl that I was telling you about before, who will end up watching this. And she, when we actually start, like we make it official, this is months later, this is like 4 months later. She's just like, you're not going to everybody dance, you're going to my dance.
Exactly. My boyfriend ain't out to be out here being everybody man candy.
And I was like, wait, what? She was like, yeah, that's not cool. I'm like, so then I have to go cancel each one of those maybe 2 months in advance of it. That is foul. That is absolutely foul. It's foul. And I know if any of y'all are watching or listening, I again apologize respectfully.
I was able to go to my prom, had no problems with that. But when I was 13, it's not happening. So I was able to go to other dances. Like probably the most embarrassing story was I was going to go to the Sweethearts dance. I think it was a Sweethearts dance because that was the name of our dance. And I had a date. And so it was this guy who said he had this crush on me for the longest time. And he was it back in the day. And I was like, oh my God, like what? So we're going to the dance. He came with me to go get my dress, whole 9. So I come back to my house and I was like, hey mom, can so-and-so come with me when I come back to the house? She's like, yeah, sure. My aunt is there. Okay. We lived upstairs. So we had stairs going up to our apartment. My aunt opens the door, does not see my date is behind me, and was like, oh, so you just left me for your little date, huh? And I was like, Auntie Pat, meet so-and-so. Like, and so she was like, oh, hey. So then they're like, oh, I want to see your dress. I want to see your dress. So I showed the dress. My aunt then proceeds to say, you know, you're going to have to wear a thong under this. In front of my date, in front of my mom's boyfriend, my mom, me, her, and I'm just like mortified. Okay. I'm like 17.
Why did you say something to her like, yo?
I literally, my eyes got so big. So throughout the night, like he's sitting there, you know, we're eating, whatever. She's like, well, do you have like an uncle or like an older cousin? Like literally trying. I'm like, oh my God.
No, your story is wild.
I was so mortified. I was so mortified.
Does she remember this? Does she remember this at all?
She probably does. She probably does. My mother definitely does. And I was like,
you check her though? Did you be like, yo?
I was like I'm 17. I can't really do too much about it. I was like,
well, what'd your mama say?
My mom, she also was just kind of like, Lord help us, Jesus.
No, your mama could have checked her. See, April, I need you to do better, April.
So that was my like mortified story. My senior prom though, I went solo. I wasn't even going to go to prom, and then I was like, okay, I'll go to prom, and I went solo and had a good old time. I looked amazing. So
here's the last question we have though. What did Christmas and birthdays look like for you when you were younger?
Amazing.
This is the question to me that like solidifies what I feel like this episode has already done. It has basically opened people up to the idea that you were just living a life of luxury.
I definitely got most of the things that I asked for. Like my mother worked at a job where she got Christmas bonuses. So Christmas time was a great time because she got bonuses. For me, it was just like, okay, this is my Christmas list. Usually got majority of the things on the Christmas list. When it came to birthdays and things like that, I would usually tell her what I wanted. And, you know, there was one gift she was very upset that she got. And I was like, because it was expensive and I used it, I think, on my birthday, and that was it. So, yeah, because I was determined to learn how to skateboard, and I wanted this specific skateboard that was a lot of money, and she got it. That's the only thing I wanted. I didn't want anything else. I was like, this is all I want. And she got it. And then I rode it probably the week of my birthday, and never learned how to skateboard. Then I think a few years later, I gave that to my neighbor who actually did know how to skateboard. So, yeah.
Okay. Mine is going to be really quick. Christmas. My parents cared about Christmas more than they almost cared about any other time period, right? It's great. Like, they would go out of their way to make sure we got the gifts that we, for the most part, wanted. So let's say I've created a list. 60% of the list I might get. The 40% that I wouldn't might probably be the things that are most expensive. You know what I mean? It makes sense. Okay, cool. So I was never truly disappointed ever during the Christmas. Ever. I was like, I'm so thankful to even get anything. I'm thankful that you guys would go out of your way to do it. And my dad completely dismissed the idea of there being a Santa. He's like, no, this coming out of our paycheck. So just letting you know, there ain't no Santa. It's us.
It's us.
Your dad and your mama see all the ho-ho-hos. That's what I'm talking about. So ultimately, 1 year, and this is a quick 20-second story, 1 year, we got all of our gifts stolen. It got stolen, literally stolen out of the house.
Oh my God.
We didn't really have Christmas that year, you know, for obvious reasons.
Clearly. The
next year, though, for my parents to try to recoup what happened, they went over and beyond. I've never received more in my entire life, and I didn't need at that point either, but it was an overabundance. I think it bought me a Super Nintendo and 20 games. Not 4, not 5, not 10, 20.
And them games was not 422, okay? They was.
And so I said all that to say, it's the most spoiled that I'd ever felt, because my parents were like, we can't have you feel ostracized or little, blah, blah, blah. And they made sure me and my sister had a great holiday. Thereafter, it wasn't like we were getting all those gifts every time after that. But that one time meant so much to me. I got to feel like Raven for a day. But anyway.
So done. Because my Christmas list was never wild. Like, it was never like super expensive things. So my mom was like, oh, this is doable. Like, yeah, okay, we can make this happen.
But my birthdays, and this one's even makes me so happy to talk about. I cared more about my friends being able to join than anything else. So my birthdays were always at like Burger King or McDonald's, and Burger King gave you these little fucking crowns that you put on your head. And McDonald's had a ball pit, but people don't even remember the ball pits. That was a thing. They had syringes and ball pits. That's not okay. But I really, really loved being able to do that. They used to have Sega Genesis inside of the little play area. Like, I loved it. Like, all of my friends would come out. So we'd have anywhere from 15 to 30 kids show up to a Burger King or a McDonald's, and we'd have the best of times. Now, as I got older, that stuff went away really quickly, right? And people are doing their own things. And as you get older, you just can't make that happen the same way. So my parents mostly just focused on like, hey, what's the one thing you want for your birthday? And we focus on that, which was cool. Like, if I wanted a basketball rim, they're like, hey, you're going to get the basketball rim.
Yeah.
At the time, I'm like, basketball rims are crazy expensive. They weren't. Yeah. They weren't. But in my mind, they were. I was like $100.
Basketball rim, just everything. Yeah.
And if you get the basketball rim every day, though, I was out. I'm unlike you with this skateboard. I was out there, shoot all the time. So that's my story.
I have a follow-up question to that. For Christmas, did you guys have a real tree or a fake tree?
Fake tree.
You said you had a fake tree?
Absolutely.
Okay.
You?
We had a real tree.
Absolutely not. Nobody wants to deal with that. Nobody wants to deal with that. We don't want to deal with the smell. We don't want to deal with the real trees. I'm like, no.
The smell was amazing.
Okay. I'm really concerned.
It was like Christmas, like the pine. Oh my gosh.
I think you feel that way because you grew up in LA and I grew up in Michigan. So I got to smell pine whenever I wanted. I'm like, we
had palm trees. We didn't have no pine trees.
We don't outside, inside.
Outside, inside.
Mm-mm, mm-mm. So we had a fake tree, easy to take down, easy to put up.
Yep.
The
One
thing
and
out of here,
done.
put it in a box and put it downstairs. In closing, as I was saying, learned a lot about you.
Learned a lot about
Hopefully,
you as well.
hopefully the viewers and the listeners learned a lot about you as well. And I would say this much: I was wrong about your upbringing. I was acting as if you grew up, elitist and a little bit, rich. And I was wrong. You grew up wealthy. There's a huge difference.
You're so wrong.
Huge difference. I was so wrong.
You're so wrong. Oh my gosh.
Thank you guys for listening. Any closing words?
I just want to say that I did not grow up wealthy. Okay. I may have had things that other people didn't have. We were definitely middle class family. So I think that law may be correct. Maybe I was wealthy and my parents were middle class. I don't know. Okay.
Respectfully.
Maybe that's what it was. But I personally feel as though we grew up very middle class. Like there are times that things were not happening. So,
Got it. With that said, thank you guys for listening as always. We out.
Bye.